1, 2. Good evening, fellow Graham Parker fans. I had to see this Graham Parker show. I was gonna pay extra, I was gonna offer to work in the kitchen, but instead, I got the opening gig, and I'm so honored to do that. My name is Eric Harrison. Do you have a guitar coming through here, Neil? Good? All right. This one's called Relay Road. Hope you like it. Everyone's divided and nobody's sincere. The least of all the one we chose to take the wheel and steer. Step aside, the king has come undone, returning favors to his son. And now our heroes all are dead or dying. With voices in our ears, don't bother trying. We must go to Relay Road. I don't wanna play nice, and I don't wanna cheer for all the phony sycophants that I don't wanna hear. Mommy told me, live it straight and true. Then somehow I ended up with you. And now our heroes all are dead or dying. With voices in our ears, don't bother trying. We must go to Relay Road, where a friend is a fighter, a rock and roll igniter. We got a creed and we got a code. Pay it back to the ones before us. Light a verse, explode a chorus. For on the floor is the big payload on Relay Road. Iggy, Sid, and Joey built this place for us. In this moldy basement, in the beat we trust. Every night we'd file into that pew. Drums and bass and loud guitars will do. And now our heroes all are dead or dying. With voices in our ears, don't bother trying. We must go to Relay Road, where a friend is a fighter, a rock and roll uniter. We got a creed and we got a code. Pay it back to the ones before us. Light a verse, explode a chorus. For on the floor is the big payload on Relay Road. Voices in our ears, don't bother trying. We must go to Relay Road, where a friend is a fighter, a rock and roll igniter. We got a creed and we got a code. Pay it back to the ones before us. Light a verse, explode a chorus. For on the floor is the mother lode on Relay Road. Thanks very much. You know why I love the Crossroads? Aside from Ronnie running the show, I love the Crossroads because it brings in such a diverse bunch of people, such a diverse bunch of performers. You can see people from all over the world here. I hail from the strange and distant land of Fanwood, New Jersey. And one morning I was walking in Fanwood, New Jersey, listening to my hard rockin' mixtape with a song called Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands by a guy called Bob Dylan. You know, I run marathons listening to that shit. It's got a good beat, you can dance to it. And I thought to myself, what if the sad-eyed lady of the lowlands lived in that Cape Cod right there? Who would she be? What would she be going through? And I decided that she would be called Adrian, and she would be going through this. She's in the bedroom, she won't come out. She won't answer our calls until we shout. Now it's her birthday, all hands on deck. This intervention's gonna end in a wreck. Still we'll try to understand and hope to God she's gonna grab somebody's hand. Her kids are older, all run away. They've talked it over and there's nothing more to say. Her finest watercolor in a golden frame hangs in the hallway calling her back to the game. You can find it once again, that empty canvas like a long lost friend. Adrian, it's the momentary flashes where you can see all you were and you could be. You should know better than anyone else here, and we won't leave till you agree that it's you who hold the key. Now your ex-husband and his ex-wife, every boyfriend tells you how to live your life. Apparatchiks and corporate clones, don't pretend that you're no better on your own. Still they're waiting down the stairs to write an epitaph for those affairs. Adrian, sad-eyed lady of the suburbs, all the time over you like I should be. You should know, but we're waiting to remind you, and we won't leave till you agree. Please release your grip on me. Still we're waiting down the stairs to write an epitaph for those affairs. Adrian, it's the momentary flashes where you can see all you were and you could be. You should know better than anyone else here, and we won't leave till you agree. Adrian, sad-eyed lady of the suburbs, all the time over you like I should be. You should know, but we're waiting to remind you, and we won't leave till you agree. Please release your grip on me. Please release your grip on me. Thank you very much. I gotta say already, after 2 songs, this is the most polite crowd I've ever encountered at the Crossroads. All those loud, slovenly punk rockers, they don't know shit about life. So, like hundreds, maybe thousands of songwriters who operate in this vein, I have been heavily influenced by the great Graham Parker. 40 years I've been a fan of his. And to be able to meet him tonight, I tried not to do what my daughters call fanboying too much. But it was just such an honor to meet the man and to hear that voice and to have him here in our backyard. How fucking great is that? And how great this club, I don't know, you know, you could research it through the Google if you wanted to, but what Lee has done with his staff and how hard they have worked, not only to keep this club afloat during the madness of COVID, but to make it thrive, to revamp it indoors, to add that beautiful patio outside, and to think outside the box and to keep it vibrant. Me out here in the burbs, it's a frickin' paradise for me. And I thank you so much to Lee Frankel and to Ronnie, the bouncer, and to everybody working here at the bar and the entire staff at Crossroads. Such a thrill to be back with live music. So this is a song of mine from my last album, Gratitude. Of all of the songs I've ever recorded, I think it's the most obviously Graham Parker influence. This is about, so I have teenage daughters, which is why I like late nights out. But one morning I wanted to, you know, when they were little, it was, Daddy, Daddy, don't go. Now it's like, whatever, who are you? So one morning before school, I usually leave at like 6, but this morning it was 7:30. They were both up, they were getting ready. And I checked each room, and both of them were watching tutorials by makeup influencers telling them how to put on their makeup. And I thought, I'm old. This shit has to end. It's clatter. It's nothing but clatter. So that morning over breakfast, I wrote this song, which to me felt like my effort to take passion is no ordinary word and move it into the internet age. It's not as, don't get your hopes up, it's nowhere near as good as that song, okay? What is? But it's still pretty good, I hope. Clatter. What would you do if you thought nobody was watching? What would you say to cut your demons to the quick? Near half a century has brought us to this moment. It's up to us to find the meaning. Put yourself in my position and then maybe get on top. There's a tablet on the headboard. You can play a game if you get bored. With the prettiest fruit around a rotting core, a small town beauty and a Hollywood whore. It's the oldest story, wrapped in morning glory. And she'll give it up quick for a like and a click. Tell you she's dying but she ain't even sick. Reality don't matter. On a dare, getting paid for clatter. Miss Influencer has influenza. She's gonna stay inside today. Creation, curation, a flawless face and feet of clay. She's acting, we're acting. Watch us bridle, watch her blanch. The camera adores her. Now here's your chance. Put yourself in her position and then maybe get on top. Don't let the other boys in. The medicine is poison for the prettiest fruit around a rotting core. A small town beauty and a Hollywood whore. It's the oldest story, wrapped in mourning she's dying, but she ain't even sick. Reality don't matter on a day getting paid for clatter. A connoisseur of the underground, contour in the sewer, turned away at the lost and found, like they hardly knew her. So from the depths of our disdain, she'll emerge to this refrain. Hallelujah, she is risen to a different kind of prison. Put yourself in her position, and then maybe get on top. There's a time for laughter, happy never after, with the prettiest fruit around a rotting core, the small town beauty and a Hollywood whore. Baby, that's our story, wrapped in morning glory. And she'll give it up quick, but the love won't stick. We're all dying to be pretty and sick. Reality don't matter on a dare. You got paid for it, got a date, can't be late for it. All aboard, getting paid for clatter, clatter, clatter. Thanks very much. I think we all had our coping mechanisms for the last year and a half. My coping mechanism as a part-time songwriter who lives in a very small house with hormonal people was to spend a lot of time on the front porch. And on that front porch, I had some propane tanks and those heaters you buy to hook up to them to give you some artificial heat for a little while. They run out fast, but those hours are valuable. And I wrote a lot of songs out there. I had just finished an album before COVID kicked in. I released the first single on March 13th, 2020. Great timing for me, right? I really had it. Those touring plans really came to non-fruition. But I learned what a Facebook Live show is. I'd never done that before. And, we had to pivot a little bit. But we were all going through a lot. And as a privileged white person, I felt like there was a lot of stuff I wanted to do that I couldn't do. And I was just disheartened by a lot of what was going on. And I'm very wary of political music because there's a lot of virtue signaling to it, and there's a lot of look at me, I'm socially conscious to it, so I'm really careful about that. But this did come from the heart. It's called The Fundament, and I always like the word fundament. It's not in popular usage, but it refers to a binding principle, and I think that binding principle is our shared humanity, which I think from time to time we forgot and we continue to forget. So with that in mind, here is The Fundament. I'm warning you, this is not a party song. Looking out of a window, is Daddy coming home? There's a warning of violence at the station. 7 dead on the sidewalk, animals in a cage. We've been calling his number, there's no answer. And if I knew of a signal sent, I'd follow it to the fundament. Men and women of good intent Start again at the fundament. No promise broken, no truth bent at the fundament. She had a brother named Yuma and a kid on the way. She was waiting for paper to belong here, till the men who don't know her come and take her away. She'll be washing your dishes ever after. And if I knew what the message meant, I'd follow it to the fundament. Men and women of good intent, start again at the fundament. No promise broken, no truth bent at the fundament. Breath of mortar and tear gas shuffling at the door. We'll be shouting for quiet for a lifetime. There's a war in the 8th Ward, boots and blood in the street. We've been calling and calling, still no answer. As I pray for a soul's ascent, I wanna go to the fundament. Men and women of good intent, start again at the fundament. No promise broken, no promise broken, no promise broken, no truth bent at the fundament. Now, not all protest music is morbid. I know a particular piece of Jersey protest music that is not morbid, and it relates to Graham Parker. Because doesn't everything tonight? So in the 1980s, Graham put out an album I loved called The Up Escalator. And there was this song called Endless Night. Remember? It was a radio hit. Big frickin' deal at the time, back when terrestrial radio mattered. And this song, Endless Night, featured some harmony singing by a guy from New Jersey. Does anybody know who that guy from New Jersey is? Now, that guy from New Jersey reportedly went on to make some pretty good records of his own and have some success in the music industry. Flash forward to February of 2021. Here in Springsteen Nation, on February 10th specifically. I remember the date because I was in the recording studio working on some new material, and my boss sends me an emergency alert. Not that boss. The boss arrested for DUI on a motorcycle in Sandy Hook. Holy shit. What's going on here? The whole world is topsy-turvy. So I scrolled through to the article. His blood alcohol content after 2 shots of tequila from a fan was 0.02 blood alcohol content. That's 0.02 deciliters. That's like nothing. I've had a gin and tonic and a half tonight, and I'm probably at 0.03. Cheers. So this seemed kind of fishy, but it occurred to me on the ride home from the studio that night. Here's my chance. All right, now, I have a day job. Believe it or not, this shit doesn't pay the bills. I know that's shocking to you. I have a day job as a lawyer. Bring the booze, come on. Society hates lawyers, come on. Bring the hatred, bring the hate. I have a day job as a lawyer, and I thought, well, I've wanted to let the boss know that I love him for my whole life since I've known who he was. And, you know, in COVID times, business is kind of slow. So here's an opportunity to send my love and to make a business pitch to the man himself. So that's where I came up with it, and it came pretty quickly because I felt that charging anyone for DUI with a .02 blood alcohol level is just insane. And when it comes to the boss, I felt the charges may have been trumped up a bit. In both senses of the word, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe. Didn't know, can't be sure. So I wrote this song. No matter what, I considered it to be a Jersey-sized disgrace. And that's what this song is called. The boss just blew a .02. That's a quarter of the legal limit. I wish I could see the full report. There's probably something fishy in it. Now law enforcement hasn't loved our man since he sang of the American skin. But 41 shots are 39 more than he'd had when they arrested him. Now Sandy Hook is a special nook under federal control for a National Park Service cop on a slow Saturday stroll. He saw Bruce hop on his bike, wrap his legs around the velvet rims, till a fan's empty Patron bottle made a defendant out of him. If they supply a public defender, I know he's gonna win this case. 'Cause a DUI for a .02 is a Jersey-sized disgrace. Like Silvio said to Tony Soprano, 2 hearts are better than one. Feeling like you and Steve on that New Year's Eve, held up without a gun. This Jersey lawyer will take your call and defend you in Zoom court. And to Judge Martone, he will intone this passionate report. I'm the boss's new defender, Eric Harrison on the case. And a DUI for a .02 is a Jersey-sized disgrace. Now we can work out a payment plan, boss. I know touring's been kinda slow. Perhaps we could play a couple songs of mine at your first post-COVID show. Either way, Chris Christie's calling, though I'm sure that he means well. As your lawyer, I must advise not to buy what he might sell. We'll plead you out to drinking in the park, and the rest will be a race. 'Cause a DUI for a .02, it's a Jersey-sized disgrace. Yes, it's true, nobody's above the law. That's why we're gonna put them in their place. And a DUI for a .02 is a Jersey-sized disgrace. Yes, a DUI for a .02, it's a Jersey-sized disgrace. And for those of you who don't keep up, that's exactly what happened. He pled out to drinking in the park, and Judge Martone asked him, Mr. Springsteen, can you pay the full fine today? And he said, yes, sir, I think I can handle that. What do we got, like 2 minutes? All right, I'm gonna give you one more, is that okay? This is a song I wrote a couple weeks ago, and I finished recording yesterday. I'm going to be releasing it on social media on Sunday. It's about something we don't hear enough about, politics. and it is a plea for turning down the temperature and just trying to get along. Please, it's called a win and a loss. Does it have to be a win or a loss? Must we be celebrated or defeated? This town is big enough for both of us, you and me. 4 ships jockey for passage, inlaid closing and frozen with fear. The first hit the fourth and the third hit the second. Fire on deck, the end is near. Think of your father and the promise you made. See the beauty of the shoreline as the waters you wade in. It doesn't have to be over and done. If you go under, I haven't won. Does it have to be a win or a loss? Must we be celebrated or defeated? This town is big enough for both of us, you and me. There's a gun on the table in the opening scene. Let's let it ride if you know what I mean. The ammunition comes at too high a price. Our friendship isn't worth the sacrifice. It's not okay if you're corralled by another lost sheriff to be out general. I want a governor who will govern me, one who agrees we can disagree. Does it have to be a win or a loss? Must we be celebrated or defeated? This town is big enough for both of us, you and me. A seeker of truth will only find folly in a land where it's all how you feel. I could rob Peter to pay Paul and Molly. Nobody makes a dollar in that deal. I'll take a life jacket and a helping hand. Not every day need a final stand. All is nothing in a constant fight. Take it away, I don't want that right. I don't want that right. Does it have to be a win or a loss? Must we be celebrated or defeated? This town is big enough for both of us, you and me. Call up the courage to balk at the cost. You can leave a battle cry unheeded. This town is big enough for both of us, you and me. You and me. Thanks very much, everybody. I'm Eric Harrison. It's been such an honor and a pleasure, and I can't wait to stand at the bar and listen to Graham Parker coming up very, very soon.